here. J.R. Shepherd dives down to the inside, trying to see if he's able to get a little bit of that tack that Brandon Proudfoot has been getting up at the front of the field. 10 laps to go here at Port Royal.
Yeah, definitely not making a huge ground here on Brian. Brian's able to maintain that gap.
It's Justin Morton back into second with J.R. Shepherd somehow taking over the lead. I have no idea.
These guys, you see Scott kind of using up all that momentum. Got to enter the corner wide. I expected him to kind of cut back low. See lap car down on the inside. George overshoots the corner. Scott puts that car just where he needs to on the middle. It's going to be a drag race through the kink. Thomas George gets loose. Scott Eckridge has the opportunity to come home with a win right now. Side-by-side drag race.
Oh, wow.
Scott Eckridge, 5/1000ths of a second.
There have been plenty of new names up and down the order this season, but up at the top it continues to remain the same old stalwarts of J.R. Shepherd, Billy Northcutt, and William Hargraves. But tonight, as we head to a new-ish track in Lucas Oil Speedway, we'll have to see if some of the newcomers are able to top the charts, or if it will continue to be the old favorites that keep their way up towards the top of the standings. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bootleg Racing League's Dirt Street Stock Series here in Season 13 on the Virtual Grip Network. My name is DJ Clark, joined as always in the commentary booth by John Hine with our director Ryan Seneker and producer Lowell Jewell behind the scenes. And John, this is a relatively new speedway here for these drivers, and it's going to be absolutely fascinating to see what they are able to do around this .38 mile bull ring.
Yeah, this is one of the newest track on the iRacing service as far as dirt goes, and it presents some interesting challenges. It's a little third of the mile. It's right here in Missouri, so it's in my backyard, which is cool, but it's got some quirks to it. Over in both turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, there's a cushion, but then there's a shelf. If you go and you think about other tracks we go to, like a Lernerville, how if you go over that cushion, you go down the hill. Where there's no hill here, it's more of a plateau, but it will definitely mess your lap up and cost you positions if you get over it.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see if drivers are able to make that work here today. As we mentioned, though, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the championship standings for the race. As you can see, up at the top of the order, it is William Hargraves, but only by about 9 points over his Dirt Panda teammate of Billy Northcutt. J.R. Shepherd's been stealthily moving his way up the order as Adam Carlisle, one of those new names, finds himself in P4. Fifth is Jason Best. Chris Davis, coming off of a good round last time out, finds himself in 6th with Zachary Loomis, Michael Mennies, Dylan Corey, Brandon Proudfoot rounding out your top 10. Proudfoot, the once and often-time champion on a partial schedule this season, so we don't expect to see him up at the top in the standings, but certainly when he is able to be here, it will be a very, very close race between him and Hargraves, as it always is up at the top of the order. Practice here from Lucas Oil Speedway is just about done, and John, that means it's time for the 4-lap qualifying session, and new for this season, it is a 4-lap average. You've got to be perfect each time around. You cannot have a scruffy lap. You've got to have 4 clean laps, otherwise your time will be discounted.
Yeah, if you get an incident point, tap the wall or anything like that, it goes away if you spin out. So you want to get 4 very consistent laps, and it brings a challenge out for these drivers. I mean, this is one where you don't have a wall right out in the corner, but when we go places like Fairbury and whatnot, they're going to have to, think about how fast they want to go and how much they want a chance tapping that right side on the wall. But it's definitely produced some interesting results here through the season.
Yeah, it really has. It's, as we said, a change for this season, and I think it's a welcome change, really adding a new flavor here into qualifying. We focus here on Robbie Robinson in that signature gold numbered 56 as he works his way around here, trying to get that car up to speed a little bit, setting the fastest sector through turns 3 and 4. There's plenty of drivers here working their way around it. Again, because this is a 4-lap average, we're not going to know exactly how fast everybody is until that time is done. But let's take this time to run you through the schedule for the rest of tonight. We are in store for heat races out here. The top 2 drivers from those heat races will automatically transfer on into the A main. Everyone else will be relegated back to the B and C main from there, and after that we will take the top 6, I believe, from each heat race, ending up with a field of 18 drivers. And by my count, John, we had about 23, 24 drivers here in the field, so quite a few drivers going to be having to pack it in and go home a little bit early today.
Yeah, and that just raises the intensity from the get-go. You got to get a good qualifying spot to get a good position in your heat. You got to finish good in your heat to have either lock yourself in or have a good position there in one of the consies. Any kind of trouble, it really puts you behind the 8 ball right from the get-go.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that these drivers have to be a little bit careful about in qualifying. You don't want to put yourself behind that 8 ball by tapping the wall or having a little bit of a mistake. We do have our first couple of times starting to come in on the board. John Wilson leading the way over Steve Smiley, Dylan Corey, Robbie Robinson, and Joe Segala, your top 5. Rocky Battenfield, a new name into the charts, is going to move his way into P10 as there comes Hargraves up into P2. We keep our eyes here on Billy Northcutt. What is Hargraves' Dirt Panda teammate going to be able to do as he works his way around? That's going to be good enough for P2 for Northcutt. Dirt Panda right up where we expect him.
Yeah, and I was watching Rocky Battenfield, and he's a new guy, and I don't think he realized that you got to put all 4 laps together, because I saw him slowing down and getting better runs on second, third lap. So I know Rocky. I've raced Rocky before, and I'm going to tell you, the dude's quick. So I don't expect him to be towards the back, but he's definitely going to have his work cut out for him for night 1 here.
I want to give some massive credit to the number 75, the Canadian driver of John Wilson, who currently sits on pole. If that holds, I do believe that may be John's first ever pole in the Bootleg Racing League's Dirt Street Stock Series. Don't quote me on that, but if my memory serves, that would be the first time I've seen him top the charts. Here is 3rd place in the championship, though. J.R. Shepard working his way around, trying to see what that different Path Motorsports machine is going to be able to do. J.R., a constant driver here that likes to bottom feed a little bit, so this track may certainly suit him.
Yeah, and this is John Wilson got knocked off by Adam Carlisle there, but yeah, this is a track that it's weird. DJ, I've run a late model, UMP, sprint car. Every car has a different line that comes in. It's not the same for any car. It is unlike any of the other dirt tracks that I've seen. I suspect that these cars, I expect them to fight for the bottom, but I have not run these yet, so I don't know where their groove is going to go. Because, like I said, the sprint cars, we were up on the cushion. Late models, we were down on the tires. The big blocks, down on the tires. UMP mods, we were up on the cushion. It's been a fascinating track to try to get used to.
Well, that's one of the reasons we love iRacing. The differences in the different dirt tracks we get is J.R. Shepard's going to be able to put in a time that's good enough for 5th best. Jason Mendo looks like he's going to be 13th, and I do not believe we are going to see Jason Dill qualify here, so that will be our field of 23 drivers on the day. About 30 seconds left to go before we line up for heat race number 1 as we get ready to send everything out here, and these heat races will be 6 laps apiece. Again, those top 2 will automatically advance, and we will not be seeing a caution flag from those races. So that certainly does mean that if you get into a little bit of a problem, you're going to have to fight your way back up through the field.
Yeah, and this is a small track, so the laps click off quick. So if you've got to fight your way through, you're not going to have a whole lot of time to get there. So, and if I think if the grooves, if it's early on, it's even going to be harder because there's a lot of tack, and it means everybody's going to be running the same speed.
Yes, indeed, as here we go, getting ready for heat race number 1 from Lucas Oil Speedway. It's going to be Adam Carlisle up in pole position, followed by William Hargraves. Then it'll be Dylan Corey and Hunter Hill behind them, Jason Menda and Joe Segala in row 3, then Chris Hazlip and Rocky Battenfield in P8. And as you said a little bit earlier, John, Rocky may be one of those drivers to keep an eye on there. That qualifying time probably not representative for the 097.
No, it's not. Like I said, I've seen him race. I've raced with him. I do expect him to move up here, but it's going to be tough because right now the track has got the most grip it's going to have all night. That means everybody's going to be going pretty close to the same speed. So, believe it or not, passing in these heat races is harder than what it is in the main event. Once this track slicks in and you can move around, then you start to get options. But here in the heat race, your options are very limited.
Well, options are very limited, but we're about to see what those options are going to be as Adam Carlisle and William Hargraves get themselves ready up here as the iRacing pace truck moves its way around one more lap until we go green here from Lucas Oil Speedway. To see as the pace truck does pull off there very, very early and leave this field around here for a good long while, it has to be said. And the pace of the field will be set by Carlisle until they come around to green. But good formation there behind everybody as they work their way around. And there, Carlisle gets on the loud pedal halfway through 3 and 4, gets to racing, catches Hargraves a little bit napping. Dylan Corey trying to slot in behind them. Looks like the number 12 there of Hunter Hill trying to make a move around the outside.
A nice battle here for the lead. Now Hargraves looks to the inside.
Oh, look down to the inside, almost contact there between the two as they continue to work their way around, but Carlisle able to hold out ahead there over the short little straightaway as we complete lap 1. Hargraves closing in behind to the best of his abilities, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get a move here early on. Remember, the top 2 positions transfer on. Good battle here back for P4 right now. That is going to be Menda, I believe, and Hunter Hill. Menda trying to fight his way forward down on the low line in that red, blue, or that blue, white, and a little bit of red there, number 45. As he continues to try to go right now. Looks down to the inside of the number 12, able to get that car hooking around the corner. John, it looks like that low lane playing out pretty well, but Hunter Hill able to fight back.
Yeah, he is. He gets a little bit of momentum and a little run off the corner. A little bit of contact that's going to allow Battenfield to pull back up. But I got to give a shout out to that 45 car, that paint scheme. That is the Brewster Baker 6-pack special and one of my all-time favorite movies. Love seeing that car out here.
Yes, indeed, as we complete 2 laps to go. And that's Joe Segala hard into the wall, and Hazlip also collected in that as well. But they're going to get themselves back moving around. We continue to follow here, watching Jason Menda. Adam Carlisle has led since the drop of the green flag, and now he will take the white flag here with 1 lap to go in heat race number 1. The number 15 just controlling this pace of the field. Hargraves not looking like he pushed too hard on this run as they dive down through 3 and 4 right now. It will be Adam Carlisle able to take victory here over Hargraves. Corey and Menda will come home 3rd and 4th. And that'll wrap up there. A little bit of a scruffy run there in the back. Joe Segala and Chris Hazlip getting into one another. Rocky Battenfield, though, as you said, John, one to watch out for, able to move up 2 positions. So credit there to him. As we get ready now for heat race number 2, and that's going to feature John Wilson lining up in pole position here for heat race number 2, followed by J.R. Shepard, Jason Best, and the Australian of Neville Ulf will line up in P4. Then it's going to be Robbie Robinson and Kevin Davis in row 3, followed by Jeremy Atkins and Jason Dill in row 4. Well, John, 1 race in the books here. What have we learned? What are you seeing? What are you noticing?
I'm noticing that it's 1 lane right now as it gets worked in here, but I think we'll start to see guys move around here a little bit. I'm starting to see some slicker lines move in, so they're not going to have quite the grip the guys did in the first one. And man, I tell you, it's cool to see John Wilson up on the pole here. That's what I love about this new qualifying. It sure has mixed things up at the front of these fields, and it's so much fun to watch. And got to give another shout out here too to the 121 of Kevin Davis. He ran, I think, close to 200 laps last night on the Charlotte Dirt Oval. So I don't know how tired he is, but man, he just came back from a long night.
Yeah, many of these drivers competing across multiple series there, so always good to be able to see them come in and compete in that, as the iRacing pace truck here should be about ready to move its way off. No, excuse me, there it goes. Control of the field will be given over to John Wilson. J.R. Shepard in the number 98 to his outside, but the number 75 Fistful of Water machine going to be the one that brings everyone around here. Let's see how they're able to go as Wilson waits a little bit longer to get on the loud pedal, and there he goes. Good start there for him. He's already going to be a full car length ahead of J.R. Shepard. That looks like Jason Best in the number 47 trying to challenge J.R. a little bit down to the inside, trying to get a little bit of correction as we're too wide coming down into turn 3 for P2. Oh, contact there, and that is Best spinning around in the back. I believe that's Neville Alf spun around. Jason Best going to lose a couple of positions. John Wilson able to hold on to the lead of the race, but just barely, John.
Yeah, a little bit of a check up there, stacked everybody up with the contactor at those leaders, and man, Neville Alf really got the short end of the stick here, but we've got a battle for second now. Kevin Davis is all over J.R. Shepard here for second.
Poking his nose down to the inside as we work on lap 3 here of this 6-lap heat race. That is going to be Kevin Davis, who just set the fastest lap of the race last time out. Looking down to the inside in that 121, trying to push here on the Different Path Motorsports driver. He's not going to quite get the line there out of turn 4, but he's going to slot back into line here as they cross over the halfway point here, trying to see what they can do. Jason Best trying to recover a little bit. We're running a little bit wide in the back. Now that momentum has shifted around a little bit, and it looks like J.R. Shepard on the attack. Big move, and Shepard getting a little bit of contact from Davis.
Yeah, those guys did a good job of kind of keeping it together, and you know that's an important spot that Shepard has, because that's a transfer spot and it plugs you into the main, but now Best is to the inside of Davis here.
Big move from Jason Best to be able to get that third position away, and he's going to slide himself up in front, but looking down to the inside, there is Kevin Davis as the white flag flies. John Wilson holding on to about a 2-car length advantage here, 1-car length advantage as they work their way around. It looks like that yellow 75 Fistful of Water machine is going to be able to be okay here. J.R. Shepard going to give one last effort to try to dive down to the inside, backs himself off a little bit, and that's going to be John Wilson taking victory over J.R. Shepard, both of whom automatically transfer. Best, Davis, Robinson, Dill, Atkins, and Ulf all going to have to go back to the consies. But a good little battle up at the front. A little bit of argy-bargy is what we're seeing here today. That may be a little bit of a theme as it works its way around and we work our way into the final heat race of the night. It's going to be Billy Northcutt lining up in pole position for this one, followed by Steve Smiley in P2. Then it's going to be Bobby Hayes and Thomas Vickers in row 2, followed by Chris Hill and Shane Calhoun. And Colin Huffman bringing up the back of the field here in P7. Just like before, John, it's going to be the top 2 that advance on from this. So Northcutt and Smiley certainly sitting at the catbird seat here at this point. As we've seen, just about anything can happen around this tight little bull ring.
Yeah, and it already has. Smiley has blinked out, and I see his quality is going down, but it's coming back up. But he hasn't come back on yet, so that's going to move, I think, the outside row up a bit.
Yeah, it looks like he's blinking out there. Chris Hill has been a manual disconnect. It looks like he's had a little bit of a problem, so we may not see him on the night. 00 going to be the car that leads us around to green as they work their way around the first of 2 pace laps here at Lucas Oil Speedway. Vickers and Northcutt pacing the field. Leader does have lane choice in these races, important to note, but we haven't really seen anybody deviate from that low line. The black and white 00, though, going to be working his way now down into P3. It is up to him when he wants to get going on this race. Let's see when Northcutt tries to get onto that loud pedal. Holds up the field a little bit longer than we've seen for a while, and there he goes. He's still able to get a pretty decent jump there on Thomas Vickers. Vickers going to try to work his way around the high line as there's a little bit of a slider there for Northcutt, just cutting off any momentum. Bobby Hayes looking a little bit aggressive down to the inside there of Vickers as they work their way into 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, just nose to tail here, and they're all running the same line here, so someone's going to have to figure out maybe to do something different if they're going to want to make a pass here.
It looks like fourth place there of Shane Calhoun trying to run a little bit of a different line as they came down through the corner, but that's not going to play itself out too much. Vickers right now trying to see what he is able to do up in front as we follow Calhoun trying to work on Bobby Hayes as they cross over the line to start lap 3 here in the third heat race. Not a lot of movement up at the front of the field right now. It's starting to look like these drivers are spacing themselves out, and I wonder if Billy Northcutt here, who is running a little bit of a modified slider line, runs very wide there on the exit of turn 4. I'm getting the sense he may be experimenting a little bit here.
Yeah, and that outside exit of 4 where he was at, there's tack out there and bite that'll give you a good launch down the straightaway. You just got to be careful not to go up over that ledge, though. That will kill any momentum you have.
Yeah, I got to be very careful about that as they cross over here with 2 laps to go. Northcutt doing a good job to get that tack down on the low end of the track, experimenting down there as he works his way around now down through 3 and 4. About a car length difference in between himself and Thomas Vickers as they continue to work their way around. White flag in the air, though, for Billy Northcutt as he brings his way down through 3 and 4, right, or 1 and 2 right now. Coming down the back straightaway now, about a car length gap in between himself and Vickers. The number 2 just not looking like he's going to be able to close in, but still be pretty happy with a transfer position as they come out of turn 4, and it's going to be Billy Northcutt taking victory here in the third heat race, followed by Thomas Vickers, Bobby Hayes, Shane Calhoun, and Colin Huffman rounding out your finishing drivers here in heat number 3. As we now get ready to move on into the C main, and this is where it all starts to count for these drivers. Very crucial here. The top 6 will automatically advance on. The bottom 2 will go home early. It's going to be Dylan Corey lining up in pole position, followed by Bobby Hayes, then Kevin Davis and Hunter Hill in row 2. Colin Huffman and Jason Dill make up row 3 with Joe Segala and Chris Hill bringing up the back of the field. John, I think for that back row, they know the pressure is going to be on them here. They're going to try to push themselves up as hard as they can, I have to think.
Yeah, you've got to probably move up the aggression meter a little bit. Some guys don't like to do that, and when I say that, I don't mean going in there and just sending it and taking somebody out, but you're going to probably have to come out of your comfort zone a little bit and push that car to get those spots up. And from what I've seen, passing is a premium here. Passing looks to be very difficult here early on, and I don't see any reason why that trend won't continue here.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to do. I think if you're going to get a pass done, you've really got to force a mistake out of the driver in front of you and just keep applying that pressure. At least that's what it seems like here in the early going. One of the great things about dirt racing is that track continues to change and evolve, and we could see a second line maybe starting to emerge at different points over the course of the race. They cross over here on the last lap of pacing right now. Dylan Corey leading this field around to green. A little bit of a run up into the gray there for Hunter Hill, just trying to pace himself out in the number 12 right now as they come down the backstretch, trying to work their way down and through. Waiting for Corey to get on the loud pedal somewhere between turns 3 and 4 and getting on it very early as the number 6. He's immediately going to slide to that outside, and look at that. That's going to be Kevin Davis able to follow him through, and we're going to be side by side going down into turn 1. Dylan Corey trying to take that up to the outside, and Kevin Davis not giving him any space. They're still side by side coming through 3 and 4.
Yeah, and we had one around in the back. It's Jason Dill.
And that is Jason Dill in the relegation zone here at this point. It does look like Dylan Corey's been able to hold off a little bit of a rebuff from Kevin Davis, but Davis trying to fight back there a little bit. You can see Dill's car hung up there on one of the interior tire barriers, so that's going to be a little bit of a problem there for him. Davis continuing to fight this on, but it looks like that higher line starting to favor a little bit of Dylan Corey here. Behind them, it's still side by side between Hunter Hill and Bobby Hayes. They're keeping things very frisky there behind is Dylan Corey now, and really and truly is up into the lead of this C main event. They come to the line here to work on lap number 3, the side-by-side continuing on between Bobby Hayes and Hunter Hill. It looks like here that everybody is going to be safe, provided that they finish. Jason Dill being marked as 2 laps down here at this point. Here comes a little bit of a move from Hunter Hill as he continues to press onto the back of Bobby Hayes, looking down to the inside, trying to see what he is able to get. He's going to work his way around. They're still side-by-side as they work over the halfway point.
Yeah, halfway through here, and the battle really is for that 4th spot between the 12 and 13 there. Is sequential numbers going for the same spot.
And that's going to be crucial for gridding in the A main here a little bit later. It's not just about transferring, it's where you get a little bit of high run there up the hill for the number 13 of Bobby Hayes. That's going to allow for Hunter Hill to get a nose ahead here. He's not fully able to be clear as they enter into turn 3, but there comes the slide job, able to try to cover him off, but Bobby Hayes saw that coming. He's going to move down to the inside. Are we going to see some swapping sliders here? No. Hayes is going to stay down on the low line, trying to cut that over with a lap and a half left to go. The battle still very fierce for P3. Dylan Corey continues to lead by about 0.8 of a second up at the front of the field as here comes that battle for P3. It's going to be Hunter Hill at the line as the white flag waves. Here they come down through turns 1 and 2, trying to see where it's going to favor. Kevin Davis just ahead of them. Could that maybe be a little bit of a spoiler here for Hunter Hill as they come down? Hunter Hill looks like he's got the position here at this point as Corey Davis comes out of the corner to take victory in the C main. Davis follows him behind. Then it's Hill. Then it's Hayes. Then it's Segala, and then it's Hoffman advancing on Jason Dill and Chris Hill, unfortunately having to go home a little bit early.
What a nice little race there. Those guys kept it clean there and raced hard for those positions, and it's good to see those guys moving on.
Yeah, very good to see those guys moving on as we work our way now into the B main event. Same rules as previous. It's going to be an 8-lap affair here, and 6 drivers able to advance on into the final. With 9 drivers, that means 3 are going to have to take an early exit. Jason Best will line up in pole position, followed by Jason Menda in P2, with Shane Calhoun and Robbie Robinson 3rd and 4th. Rocky Battenfield will be in P5, followed by Steve Smiley. Then it's Jeremy Atkins, Chris Hazlip, and Neville Olf bringing up the back of this 9-car grid. It does look like Smiley is not going to grid up here, so that is going to be one less driver that these drivers out here in the B main have to worry about, but still 2 drivers facing relegation here, and that plays on the nerves here, John, if you're behind the wheel.
Yeah, it really, really does. And, you know, as a driver at this point, I would be looking at the list of who's in front of me and thinking, okay, I'm faster than him. And as bad as it sounds, and probably even somewhat arrogant, I suppose, but then that's who I focus. I got to pass that guy, make sure I'm in front of him, and I know I'll transfer, that kind of thing. And but a lot of times that's a whole lot easier said than done here. And, you know, the track is starting to come in here, and guys are moving around in that last consi, so I think that we could maybe see some passing here in this one.
I think we may as well, as the number 47 there of Jason Best going to bring this field down the backstretch to get ready to go racing here for the final consi of the night to decide who's going to advance on and who's going to go home early. Holding the field a little bit longer as he gets on to the loud pedal coming out of turn 4. It's going to space the field out a little bit. Rocky Battenfield trying to move this way and that way back in P5 as they work their way into the corner. Looks like Jason Menda got a little bit caught up in the gray. That's going to allow for Shane Calhoun and Robbie Robinson to get a little bit side by side there. That's Robinson up to the high side, Shane Calhoun down to the low side. Calhoun trying to throw a little bit of a slider there, but it's not working. Look at Rocky Battenfield working his way through up a position already.
Yeah, those guys, the top and the bottom actually look pretty even down in 1 and 2, and it looks like the top is kind of where you want to be over in 3 and 4. So, you know, you got options here, down at least down in 1 and 2.
Yeah, you certainly do. Rocky Battenfield there, able to get a nose ahead as they work their way through the corner. He's going to try to fight with the number 41 of Shane Calhoun, and he's got that position done. A little bit of a front-to-end contact there between Ulf and Calhoun. Ulf up the big mover right now. He's up 3 positions on the day. That's going to be good news for him. A little bit of bumping and banging further back in the field between Aikens and Hazlip. Those are for the non-transfer positions. But we continue to watch here as that is Neville Ulf working his way around. Shane Calhoun on your screen as we work on lap 4. But look at this. Rocky Battenfield already starting to work on Robbie Robinson. He's not content with just transferring. He wants 3rd, John.
Yeah, he is. He's got that inside, and he'll probably get a pretty good run here coming out of 2, and that's exactly what happens, and he takes 3rd.
A little bit of contact there between himself and Robinson, but as you said, he is able to hold on to that position. The number 97 now secure up into the 3rd spot. Neville Wolf also trying to follow Rocky Battenfield on through. He's going to stick down to the low line here on Robbie Robinson. Let's see how that plays itself out as they're side by side now coming down into 3 and 4. Looking like he's going to try to hold that around there. Does Neville Wolf getting onto the loud pedal here, coming across the line with 2 laps to go. Robinson tries to pinch him down there a little bit more, but that is not going to be disturbed for Neville Wolf. He is going to keep that line, and they are perfectly parallel coming into 3.
Yeah, that bottom line is definitely, I think, a little better. And if he can hold serve here down the front stretch and hit that bottom just right down here in 1 and 2 with 1 to go, I think he's going to get that spot. And Battenfield is up into 2nd here.
Oh, Rocky Battenfield up 3, moving his way forward. Is he going to be able to hold on to this 2nd place position? It's Jason Best going to cross over the line to take victory, but the question is going to be, is it going to be Battenfield or Menda? It's Menda by a hair, call it 0.02 of a second. He is able to hold on to that over Rocky Battenfield. Neville Wolf comes home in P4, and then the drivers going home, unfortunately, on the day. But that is going to bring us here to the 5-minute warm-up. Woo, that one was fun, as it did look like Jeremy Atkins, Chris Hazlip, and Steve Smiley, the 3 drivers that will be going home. It's now we, as commentators, get a moment to catch our breath here a little bit, John. Diving down into the corner as they go. We've got a 5-minute warm-up as they work their way around.
Yeah, and right now is a good time to get out there and try to run down on the tires, run up the track, run slider lines, run as many different lines as you can so you kind of know what your car is going to do and what to expect from it. And you saw that track really come in this last race, and we started seeing things get really racy here. And I think this feature race is going to be a dandy.
I think it is as well, and we're going to see that track wear in a little bit more over the course of the running here in this event, in this 5-minute warm-up, as pretty much all the cars going to be out on track, working their way around, trying to see what they are able to get. And they're going to be seeing what it is. It looks like Billy Northcutt currently leading the way, but we still have some pretty heavy hitters yet to set a time, including his teammate William Hargraves. As the biggest thing to take out of this, though, is 4 drivers like Northcutt, like Hargraves, like the rest of them. This is really the time to learn the track.
Yeah, it really is, and know what your car is going to do on the track. That's, you know, what I said a little bit earlier about go in there, run the bottom on both ends. Run the bottom on one side, top on another. Listen to your lap times to figure out where you're fastest. Get up top there and make sure you know right where that ledge is. They're starting to push that cushion up there to near that ledge, and if you jump that ledge in a blink of an eye, you'll lose 2 or 3 spots if you're battling somebody there. So, you know, this is just such a great learning time, and you know, I never really worry about where I'm at on the old, what I call an ego sheet, you know, the speed sheet. I want to know what the different lanes are doing, what my car will do, where can I get a good run. I'm putting everything through the paces as I can.
Yeah, exactly. Just trying to see what they are able to do here. That's going to be the real run for them. There is Hargraves on your screen, currently holding on to the top place position. Adam Carlisle behind him, Billy Northcutt, and then Dylan Corey and Rocky Battenfield up into P5. I think Battenfield's going to be the real story for me to watch over the course of this race.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he's got his work cut out. I mean, we've got a lot of really good drivers in this league. You know, from J.R. Shepard to Kevin Davis to Hargraves to Northcutt. You know, I could keep going on and on. This league doesn't have any give-me's as you come through the field. So, you know, while he's got some, I think some pretty good pace, I still think some of the guys that have been here for a little while and whatnot, I think they'll prove tough for him.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty interesting run up at the top of the field. Battenfield obviously having it all to do here as they work their way around, but we know that number 097 has plenty of speed to be able to get themselves going around. The question is going to be is just how many moves are going to be able to be made. Looking here, though, I'm pretty impressed with the way this field is running. We're seeing multiple lanes being formed, and it looks pretty good here for some good racing once we get into this feature.
Yeah, it really, really does. And, you know, like I said, I've been on this track already in a few different cars, and it can get kind of racy, but it's just unpredictable what it can do. Where everybody is fast and whatnot. It's just been kind of a crazy learning experience, unlike any of the other dirt tracks, to be honest with you. But, you know, touching back on Rocky, my experience with Rocky has been in late models. these are street stocks, and these drivers are limited with really what they can do with these cars. I mean, number one, they're all fixed setups. Number two, they don't have that, that big power, so you can, really use the throttle to either get the car to rotate or get that big run up off the corner. They've got to work on momentum, but if you're back in the pack, you're constantly having to break your momentum to maybe not cause a wreck or run the guys over, so whoever's on the front row, they've got a big advantage because they got a clean track in front of them. Everybody else, though, it's difficult, especially on a bull ring like this, to keep your momentum up and pick up spots no matter how fast you are on raw pace.
Yeah, you've got to be very, very careful about it. I do want to give credit here. We've seen these drivers, and of course, as I say that, we see a little bit of a coming together there, but these drivers looking pretty clean and green as they work their way around. But the checkered flag does fall for the 5-minute warm-up session, and we head our way into the 40-lap feature race here from Lucas Oil Speedway. And that does mean we're ready to bring you the starting grid for tonight's event. Lining up in pole position, it will be Adam Carlisle, followed by John Wilson, with the Dirt Panda teammates of Billy Northcutt and William Hargraves lining up behind them. In 5th place, it'll be J.R. Shepard for Different Path Motorsports, followed by Thomas Vickers, with Dylan Corey and Jason Best in row 4. Then, and Kevin Davis lines up in P9, and Rocky Battenfield rounds out your top 10, John.
Starting in 11th here is going to be the number 12. That's Hunter Hill. Next to him is going to be in that, and he is in that Brewster Baker throwback. That's the 45 of Jason Menda. In the next row, it's going to be Bobby Hayes and Neville Ulf, who's had a nice recovery after trouble in his heat race. They are followed by Joe Segala and Robbie Robinson there in row 8, starting 15th and 16th respectively. And in the last row here tonight, it's going to be the 107 of Colin Huffman and the number 41 of Shane Calhoun.
All right, and that's going to constitute your 18-car grid here today. This is going to be the first time that we see yellow flags being thrown out on the circuit, and so that means that we could have that happening over the course of this running. Now, important to remember, though, the caution flag laps do not count, so folks, you are guaranteed a full 40 laps of green flag running. Double file restarts up until the final 10 laps, at which point it will be a single file restart for these drivers. Adam Carlisle and John Wilson, I can guarantee you that is a front row we have never seen before. Again, want to give massive credit here to the 75. That yellow machine looking very, very strong out here today. Bit of weaving farther back in the pack. These drivers just trying to get those tires maybe a little bit up to temperature, trying to see what they are able to do here as they work their way around right now. Cars coming through turns 1 and 2 for the final time under the pace car, as Carlisle now will bring the field down the short back straightaway and into turns 3 and 4. Control the field on to the number 15 as we get ready to go racing here at Lucas Oil. Waiting as there goes the green, and we are underway. It's a good getaway for Adam Carlisle. J.R. Shepard immediately trying to challenge down to the inside of John Wilson, and that's going to be William Hargraves trying to move his way around to the outside as well, but up at the front of the field, Carlisle starting to run away with it, but John Wilson, J.R. Shepard, and William Hargraves duking it out now.
Yeah, and they're almost 3 wide back there for 3rd, 4th, and all that. So a lot of good racing, a lot of different lines, and it looks like different lines are working. One line is not preferable over another, which is what we like to see. That's going to allow us to see some really good racing here.
Yeah, some very, very good racing is now. It's going to be John Wilson trying to mount a little bit of a challenge up on the super high side there. Almost 3 wide, as I think Hargraves may have had to back out of it a little bit more there. We're definitely going to go 3 wide down through 1 and 2. Wilson up on the high side. Hargraves in the middle. Shepard down low. As again, they work a little bit of contact there on the outside wall for Wilson. They fan out down through 3 and 4 as they try to sort themselves out. It looks like in the back, Thomas Vickers trying to pick his lane a little bit, as is the number 6 of Dylan Corey. And we've got our first caution on the day, John.
Yeah, it looks like Jason Menda might have been involved, and is that Robbie Robinson I see there? So yeah, and Joe Segala there. So 3-car incident here.
Yeah, 3-car coming together, and that is going to be our first caution on lap 4. Let's take a look back here at the replay. There we keep an eye on that number 45 coming down into the corner. Looks like he just carries a little bit too much speed. Contact there with Bobby Hayes, and then Joe Segala left with nowhere to run, and the same for Robbie Robinson.
Yeah, you called it exactly right. He got in a little bit hot and kind of checked up so he didn't turn the 13 there, Bobby Hayes, and kind of got around. And that's the kind of thing that will happen, you know, when everybody's stacked on top of each other. One guy checks up, it can create trouble there when everybody's under a blanket like that.
As we ride on board there with, I believe that was the 45 of Menda. As you can see, really nowhere for him to go. Excuse me, that was farther back in the field there. Really just nowhere to go. Segala, thank you very much. That was Joe Segala that we rode on board with there. Just nowhere for Joe to go, unfortunately, and that's going to see him relegated back down to about 16th place. By the way, Billy Northcutt, we didn't notice this under the frenetic action that we were seeing up at the front of the field, but Northcutt had a connection issue at the drop of the green flag, and he now runs 5 laps behind everyone else.
Oh, man, that's a tough break for Billy. That's going to hurt points-wise.
Yeah, that is not what he wants to see, and indeed, I think he is going to pull off and take a tow. He knows that there's really no way for him to come back from this, but we are regridded up the front of the field. Carlisle and Wilson just the way they were at the drop of the green flag. They're going to bring their way through right now as Carlisle gets on the loud pedal once again. Hargraves looking a little bit aggressive. He got a better start than J.R. Shepard. He's going to put his way up into P3 right now as the top 4 or 5 work their way through the corner. Almost contact there with the number 6 of Dylan Corey as they work their way around. Thomas Vickers trying to fight around the outside here. This is getting pretty hairy. Contact there with Hargraves. A big coming together, and it's a big kerfluffle in the middle of the pack.
No caution. How? I think Barney's drinking.
Barney, the flag man, not throwing the caution flag, but everything has shifted around now. Adam Carlisle holding on to about a 1.7 second lead over J.R. Shepard and William Hargraves, and this is going to absolutely space out the field. Let's go back and take a look here at exactly what happened.
We got
Coming
caution
down
now.
into the corner, now we have the caution. It was contact between Wilson and Hargraves, and then the big stack up through the field. All right, so we are going to be under caution here on lap 8. And just to reset you, it is going to be Carlisle. Let's go back and take a look at what brought out this caution flag. Now, this is the 121 down to the inside there. Oh, big contact there with, I believe that was Bobby Hayes, and Hayes slipping out into the outside. I'm amazed. Well, there you go. You've got the number 2 of Thomas Vickers sliding back across the track. I think that's what brought out the caution. I was going to say, if that was all that brought out the caution, I was going to be a little bit disappointed there in Barney. There you can see it, yeah, slipping and sliding across the track. Although he does come down to the inside of it. I'm not sure why that first incident didn't trigger the caution here, John.
I have no clue. And the second one did, and the second one was a lot milder than the first. And yeah, the second one there, I mean, Davis and Hayes there make a little bit of contact. Kind of looked like Davis was anticipating the 13 to go a little bit further, Bobby Hayes to go a little further up the track than what he did. And man, just a tough break for those guys.
Yeah, very tough break indeed. But Adam Carlisle, no mind there for him. He is going to continue to lead here as they come through turns 1 and 2 right now. Pace truck scampering off down into pit lane. It will be Carlisle, Shepard, Hargraves, Hill, Battenfield up into P5, up 5 positions already. We said keep an eye on him, and we weren't lying. As here they come back down into 3 and 4 on the second restart of the day as they try to work their way through. Carlisle going to get onto the loud pedal. Looks like a little bit more of a calm start there. The top 3 going in single file order. Rocky Battenfield trying to fight a little bit as they go. There's already a little bit of a checkup, a little bit of coming together, but it looks like everybody's able to keep things pointed the right way. And we've got a car spinning off down to the inside. That's the 45 of Jason Menda, but still green.
Yeah, I can't figure out why Barney, he's sure being liberal up there with throwing that yellow, isn't he?
Yeah, he certainly is, but here we watch the number 12 of Hunter Hill, who finds himself up 7 positions into the 4th place spot right now, trying to close down on Hargraves. Up ahead of him right now, Rocky Battenfield working his way behind him as they go, spacing out a little bit as they work their way through 1 and 2, working on lap 10 right now. William Hargraves thinking about a move down to the inside of J.R. Shepard, not entirely able to get that run to go, and then now it looks like Hargraves is kind of trying to work on the higher lane here. Everybody just trying to figure out where that grip is and how to be able to find it.
Yeah, and everybody's kind of feeling around here, and you know what? That Battenfield, after that big kerfuffle that we saw, that one with no caution, he was really the big winner in that. He picked up 4 or 5 spots when that happened, and that's how he's gotten himself up here.
Yeah, he really has. Battenfield now moving his way up into P4, having passed Hunter Hill. Let's see if he's going to be able to hold that out as Hunter Hill trying to find his way around the outside. As it looks like Battenfield's got just a lick ahead, and there indeed he does. The number 97 securely up into 4th place. He's now going to set his eyes on the championship leader of William Hargraves. Now, what's crucial here for Hargraves is with Northcutt and DNF on the day, that should see his points lead really expand up through the standings, but he's got to try to keep an eye on J.R. Shepard. We look a little bit farther back in the pack right now. I believe that's Robbie Robinson, Neville Ulf, and Thomas Vickers running pretty close to each other. And who is that way up on the high side there? That's Neville Ulf taking a very experimental line.
Yeah, and that's up where that shelf is, and that's, like I said, you don't want to get over that. You get over that, that just kills your momentum. And oh, we got a little contact there. Another caution.
And that is going to be just enough to trigger the caution. Okay, I think we figured it out. If you have a little bit of coming together here after the first lap, even if it's very minor, that'll bring out the yellow. But Barney giving a little bit by the wayside here in the first lap. I think that's what it is. Let's go ahead and watch the replay here. This was Robinson and Vickers, I believe, coming down into the corner. Just a little bit of a pinch, a little bit of too much momentum there from Robinson, and that was just enough to trigger the automatic caution here on iRacing.
Yeah, and you called it perfectly there. And, you know, last night I did a broadcast over at the Charlotte Dirt Track, and I saw some issues with things I couldn't believe weren't, you know, where the flag wasn't thrown. And I was like, you know, I don't want to start rumors, but I think Barney's got a drinking problem. And I'm going to tell you, as seeing tonight, I'm more convinced than ever. I think Barney may have a drinking problem.
Well, we'll have to talk to Barney after the broadcast here and figure out exactly what is going on up in that flag stand. But as of right now, we keep our eyes focused on Adam Carlisle. A lot of yellows here in this session, but not exactly unsurprising. Very, very tight confines around Lucas Oil. It's very hard to get these street stocks slowed down if something happens right in front of you.
It is, and plus it's a new track. A lot of these guys, I mean, this very well might be their first time on this track and under racing conditions here. So if not, it's maybe the first, you know, couple, 2-3 times. So it's a learning process for everybody here tonight.
Yeah, it certainly is, but when we have stayed green, it has been some very, very good racing up the front of the field and indeed all the way through the pack. Carlisle, again, going to be leading this field around to green here as there he gets onto the loud pedal, the number 15, getting away nice and easy, as now it looks like Rocky Battenfield and William Hargraves starting to press J.R. Shepard for that second place position. Shepard trying to fight a little bit on the outside line. Looks like he's able to carry a little bit more momentum, and we've got another yellow out on the track.
Oh, and this time it's going to involve John Wilson. He's had such a good night.
Yes, indeed he has. We'll jump back to the replay here to find out exactly what happened to the number 75. It looks like that was just a bunch of drivers trying to fight for the same area of real estate. A little bit of contact there with Neville Ulf. And then coming down into the corner here, slipping and sliding, and it looks like Ulf just got into the back of Wilson, and that was enough to spin him around. Multiple cars involved, and that will bring out our third or fourth yellow on the evening.
Yeah, he just kind of Ulf overdrove it into the corner there just a little bit, and yeah, got in the back. And because you're on a bull ring here, and to get through these corners, they're tight corners, that means you got to put a lot of wheel in, turn that wheel a lot to get the car to turn into the corner, and then of course you got to put a lot of wheel to counter steer. But when you have your wheel on corner entry turn that much, DJ, it doesn't take a lot as far as contact to get a car to go around.
No, it certainly does not. You got to be a little bit careful about it as you run, as now the field's going to start to form its way back up around here, trying to see what they are going to be able to get as we will restart here on lap 15 as they now work their way around, trying to see what they are able to do. Adam Carlisle in the lead of the field. Once again, he has led since the drop of the green flag. Everybody else around him moving around quite a bit. J.R. Shepard up 3 positions. Hargraves up 1. Battenfield up an impressive 6. Now as they come down out of turn 3 and 4, we wait for the drop of the green flag. A little bit of contact there with Hargraves and Carlisle, but everybody able to get ahead up the front of the field again. J.R. Shepard going to be able to hold on to that second place, but here comes Hargraves starting to challenge.
Yeah, Hargraves got through 1 and 2 really, really good. And if he can hold serve down here in 3 and 4 and put to go, almost contact.
Yeah, that was Carlisle getting a little bit sideways there, trying to keep everything underneath him. And now that's going to be J.R. Shepard trying to fight his way up forward. J.R. getting a little bit sideways, though. Could that open up a little bit of a door here for William Hargraves or potentially Rocky Battenfield, as here they come down into the corner, and that's going to be Hargraves taking a peek on Carlisle. A little bit of banging doors as they're 3 wide across the start-finish line.
Lucas Oil does not disappoint. They're still 3 wide going through 1 and 2, and look at that. J.R. Shepard comes out with the lead.
Comes out for the lead, and there they go. J.R. Shepard in the number 98 up to the front of the field. There's a big train starting to form down on the low line as we cross over, working on lap 19. Carlisle sending it in deep, trying to carry momentum there around the high side. Excuse me, that's Battenfield doing that up around the high side. Carlisle sticking it down low, but J.R. Shepard running the middle line here and running it to relative perfection as we've got another yellow.
Yeah, and this is that shelf that I've talked about all night. It finally reared its ugly head here.
Yeah, it certainly did there, as JR is going to find himself now the one to bring this field around to green, and we will restart here at about the halfway point, bringing you back on the replay here a little bit farther back down in the field. Let's find out exactly what triggered this. The shelf, as you mentioned, John, that is the number 6. Ooh, big contact there for Dylan Corey.
Yeah, he got up over that shelf about the exit of turn 4, and if you look carefully at the replay, you'll see his car tilt over to the right side, and then he tapped those tires, and man, Chris Davis got collected in that. And I've watched Chris all week, and I'm going to tell you, man, if that guy didn't have any bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. Just wrong place, wrong time there.
Yeah, very much so. Just absolutely collected and nowhere to go there for him. So he is going to have to move his way back around right now. But J.R. Shepard going to be the one changing things up as he will lead the field around to green here at the halfway point in tonight's feature event. 20 laps down, 20 laps to go. Every driver that is led, and by that I mean Adam Carlisle and J.R. Shepard, has opted for the low line. Remember, leader does have lane choice here in all of these events, so he's going to bring his way down around JR. Going to be waiting to get on to the loud pedal here, starting on lap 20. Let's see when the Different Path Motorsports driver gets onto it, as there he goes. Rocky Battenfield looking very, very squirrely off of the line as they get themselves moving around right now, trying to fight a little bit as they go. That's going to be Hargraves making it 3 wide.
Boy, they're not giving each other any quarter here, and this is just great racing all around. These guys are not giving each other a lot of room, but they're giving each other just enough room.
A little bit of contact there between Battenfield and Carlisle as Carlisle tried to send a move down to the inside there, coming off at turn 4. Lap 21 laps here in the books. J.R. Shepard continues to lead, but he is under heavy pressure from Battenfield. Meanwhile, for P3, it's a battle between Hargraves and your former leader of Adam Carlisle, Hunter Hill, running the high side there, trying to make that work. This could get 3 wide here in just a few moments' time if these drivers aren't careful.
Yeah, and the scary thing is, DJ, we're just barely past halfway. These guys are putting on a show.
Yeah, they certainly are putting on one heck of a show for us. Is up at the front of the field. It looks like there the Rocky Battenfield up 8 positions. Had a nose ahead as they came off of turn 4, but J.R. Shepard rolling the middle still, trying to keep up that momentum, but it looks like the 97's going to have about a half a car length lead as they dive down into turn 3. Shepard trying to fight back. There Noah's Ark coming down into the corner 2 by 2. Who's going to lead at the line here to start lap 24? It looks like it was Battenfield by a nose.
Yeah, and for the first time we see somebody go all the way to the top there, where Hargraves went all the way to the top in 1 and 2 there and gets a massive run down the backstretch.
And he's
but
going
he
to
goes
do it
over
again.
the shelf.
And he caught it. He caught the shelf, and that's going to lose him momentum there to Carlisle, but not enough to be able to do it, and that is the risk versus reward that you have to deal with. Carlisle has to check his momentum up there a little bit to not make full contact with J.R. Shepard as we work on lap 25. Hargraves continuing to work the high line, chucking it in. More contact between Carlisle and J.R. Shepard as they work their way out of the corner. Hargraves has to check up big momentum and a contact there to the outside wall.
Yeah, I have to wonder here what would happen if Hargraves stays up there and actually builds momentum up there. I kind of almost think that he could make his way back up to the front here. I think 3 and 4 up top there, if you can make it work and not jump that shelf, I think that's quicker than on the bottom.
I think it very may well be as well. As we look here, Carlisle and Shepard continuing to duke this out a little bit, trying to see what these two have as they now work their way around, waiting to see what's going to happen. Shepard just rolls a little bit of a momentum, giving a pinch down to Adam Carlisle through the corner. As they come out of turn 4, it's going to be Shepard by a nose. Hargraves continuing to try to roll momentum. Rocky Battenfield in P1 right now, leading away almost a full second ahead. He is going to be praying that this battle behind him continues to go on.
Yeah, those guys battling has allowed him to sneak away a little bit. And not only is he going to pray that the battle goes on, he's going to pray that no cautions come out, because that'll put them all right back to him.
Very close quarters there between Carlisle and J.R. Shepard, but it shows you the respect and skill of those two drivers respectively, as here comes Hargraves working the high lane. Shepard gets a little bit of a spin though, and he goes around, and that's enough to bring out the yellow.
Oh, just gutted for JR there. What's racing, man? I'd love to have seen that play out a little bit more, because Hargraves was finally getting that top to go work in.
Yeah, he certainly was. Very, very close running there. An absolute heartbreak for J.R. Shepard. Always the bridesmaid here on the day. And he's going to find himself all the way back down in 15th position. We keep an eye as we check an eye on the replay here of that battle with Carlisle and Shepard. This was just, I've got to say, John, probably just a little bit of incidental contact there between Shepard and Hargraves.
Yeah, I'm not even sure that they touched, but I do think that that dreaded netcode word there came in. I think, man, that's just tough, because Hargraves didn't get to him, and JR's going to pay the price here, though, and that's really unfortunate. But now we get to reset, though, and I got a feeling that the front battle is about to heat up here for these last 10 laps or so.
I certainly think you could be right, as the front row will be Rocky Battenfield, Adam Carlisle, with Vickers and Hargraves behind them. We will have to see how this plays out here. We will be restarting on lap 30, 11 laps to go around this circuit, and crucially, this is the last time we will see a double-wide restart here at Lucas Oil Speedway as they work their way down through the corner right now. Pinching up a little bit, there is Rocky Battenfield, and getting the car to spin, getting it around the corner, and getting on the loud pedal is the number 97. Remember, Rocky had about a 1 second lead over the rest of the field as they came around on the last yellow, and now it looks like Carlisle trying to get up, doing a little bit of contact, and a big pile up further back in the pack. Multiple drivers involved in that one as well, as we'll jump back to check out a replay here in just a few moments' time. Focusing on further in the pack there, you can see Segala working his way around Robbie Robinson. It looks like that was Neville Wolf just getting a little bit slow, and again, nowhere for those drivers to go.
Yeah, Neville Wolf went in and got into the back of the number 12 there of Hunter Hill, and kind of checked up a little bit so he wouldn't turn him around, and it just broke his momentum, and all these guys that were just right behind him had nowhere to go, and Neville Wolf gets turned over there, so that's really bad luck for him.
Yeah, very bad luck there for him. That's going to be a real heartbreak for Neville Wolf. He was having a good run on the day, too, unfortunately. So that's going to send him back down in the field. But as we said, single file restart with under 10 laps to go. So that's going to change things up. John, going to make it a little bit harder to get on past.
It is, and I'm going to tell you, if these guys don't hurry, we might have to call this early for darkness, because it is getting dark here, and Lucas Oil, as of right now, for iRacing, do not have lights on yet.
Well, calling me surprised. The timing actually may work out that we may be double file one more time, as we're actually going to hit that just perfectly on the day. So we will have one more double file restart here, but only 10 laps to go at the line here. Let's see if Rocky Battenfield is able to get a good start on the front again as they work their way through 3 and 4. Again, he's running that high line up there. A little bit of contact with Carlisle before Battenfield gets onto the loud pedal. Hargraves getting a little bit sideways. That's going to allow for Carlisle to be able to hold on to that P2 position. Very, very close running there up at the front of the field as they work their way around it side by side for P2, but Battenfield starting to scamper away.
Yeah, Battenfield's got it on lock on the bottom there, and another turnaround there in the back.
Another turnaround
Caution.
to the back, and there's the yellow flag that has been thrown. I believe that may have been Calhoun that got spun around there. We'll go back and take a look at the replay to let you know exactly what happened on that one. John Wilson there coming onto the scene of the crime. Unfortunately, a couple of those drivers just getting things wrong. Yeah, that was Calhoun in the number 41 machine there on the center of your screen. You see him just dive down into the corner, and that looks to be the number 21 there, carrying a whole lot, the 121, excuse me, of Kevin Davis, just carrying a whole lot of speed, not able to get the car slowed down, and Segala also involved in that incident as well.
Yeah, and you see the left front of Davis's car kind of lock up there and try to hit the brakes. And I don't know that in this scenario, I don't know that it was a case of Davis carrying too much speed in. It looks actually like the 41 started to get loose and checked himself up to kind of catch it. And when he did, that closing rate accelerated. So, but we're under caution again, DJ, and I'm going to tell you, it's getting dark.
It's getting very, very dark as it is at about 8:31 p.m. virtual standard time. But as promised on the last caution, this one will be a single file restart here for Rocky Battenfield. As there you can see the iRacing pace truck at the front of the field, bringing everybody around. We'll have one more lap of caution, then we will get back under green flag racing. I've got to say here, my driver of the race thus far, goes without saying, but it's your leader, Rocky Battenfield.
Yeah, he's avoided trouble, and when you avoid trouble and you have good speed, good things happen, and that's what he's done here, and I think he's going to be tough to beat here down the stretch.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you. He looks particularly tough to beat down this stretch, but we will have to see how he plays himself out as they go right now. Not a whole lot left to run. Only about 9 laps as Battenfield gets ready to get on the loud pedal, and gets on the loud pedal he does. Behind him, that's going to be Hargraves trying to take down a low line to take second place away from Adam Carlisle as they work their way now down through 1 and 2, working on lap 33. Almost contact. There was a little bit of contact. That's going to check up Hargraves, and that's going to allow for Vickers to get through. Hargraves is spun down to the inside.
Yeah, and he immediately is done. So, man, what a big turn of events that is right there.
And that's now going to be a crucial day here for J.R. Shepard. We thought this was going to be a disastrous day for J.R., but finishing in 7th, he's going to be able to close back on the rest of the field. Great stuff here for the 98 Different Path Motorsports driver.
Yeah, it's going to be big points-wise. It's going to allow him to not lose as many as what he thought when he first went around there. So good recovery for him.
Good recovery indeed, as now we focus on that battle with J.R. Shepard down to the inside, trying to work on Bobby Hayes right now. He's already cleared Hunter Hill as they come down into the corner right now. The number 98 working down through, trying to carry momentum on that low line as they run across the line with 5 laps to go from Lucas Oil. High line versus low line. Does J.R. Shepard have the nose ahead here as they come out of turn 2? It looks like he's going to lose a little bit of momentum there to the 13, but he's still going to keep in it.
Yeah, he's making that bottom work, and he's got just a nose ahead coming out of turn 4.
Just a nose ahead coming out of turn 4. He's going to try to keep this up the best that he can, and there's the best run we've seen Shepard have. It's not clear, not close enough to really get that move to completely pass, but it's going to be close enough for him to keep trying here. He's going to keep pushing around. 3 laps to go at the line. 4 of these drivers at the front of the field. Battenfield continues to run away a little bit, but he's getting caught a little bit by Adam Carlisle, but we will keep our eyes fixed here as J.R. Shepard clears and up into P5.
Yeah, once again, great recovery for JR there, and that's going to help him points-wise, definitely coming out of this one, and we're getting down to it now. I'd say the pay window's open, and this is Battenfield's race to lose at this point.
Yes, it is. He's got about a half-second advantage on the rest of the field here right now, and we'll keep our eyes focused on the number 97 as he continues to work his way around. As there he gets onto the loud pedal as the white flag flies here in the feature event, as Rocky Battenfield, up from P10 on the day, only has 2 more corners to go to take victory at Lucas Oil. The newcomer into the series coming out of turn 4, and it's going to be the 97 to take victory here tonight.
That is a good run for him, coming way from the back from 10th to 1st. Man, that's a great run.
Absolutely remarkable stuff from Battenfield. Adam Carlisle and Thomas Vickers will round out your podium behind them. And that's going to send us to a quick break here on the Virtual Grip Network. But do not go anywhere. We will have the final finishing order and podium interviews just after this.
This is the world's premier online racing simulation. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat from your home computer with the most realistic online motorsports experience you'll find anywhere. Race virtually in the world's biggest events with officially licensed series, cars, and tracks. From the high banks of Daytona to the blistering speeds of Indianapolis, the dirt of Eldora to the world's most legendary road courses. It's all here, and with more than 180,000 people just like you already driving, you'll always have someone to race. Ready to get behind the wheel? Sign up at iRacing.com to get started.
Welcome back to Lucas Oil Speedway, as it was Rocky Battenfield able to take victory here in the first time of asking over Adam Carlisle and Thomas Vickers. Then it was Jason Best and J.R. Shepard on a great recovery drive to come home in P5, followed by Bobby Hayes, Hunter Hill, Robbie Robinson, Jason Menda, and John Wilson in the top 5. Joe Segala and Neville Olth were 11th and 12th, followed by Shane Calhoun with Colin Huffman and William Hargraves in 15th. Kevin Davis in 16th, Dylan Corey 17th, and Billy Northcutt a DNF here on the day. John, we were talking a little bit off air that there was some very close bumping and banging there among everybody in the field, but a really, really good race. Exactly what you hope to see from a little bull ring like Lucas Oil.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it was nice, too, to see there's a lot of new names in the field here. And you mix that with a bull ring and a track that they're not really familiar with, being a newer track on the service here. That's a recipe for a complete disaster, and those guys handle it very, very well. When you race a bunch of guys that you don't know or whatever, you don't know tendencies, you don't know how they run, who you can trust, who you can't trust. Those guys actually did a really, really good job tonight to really put on a good show.
Yes, they certainly did. As we wait for those podium finishers to filter their way up here into the VGN interview booth, I want to take a look ahead to Cedar Lake next time out. John, a little bit of a different circuit there, but again, one of the newer ones on iRacing.
Yeah, Cedar Lake is an interesting track, too. It doesn't ever seem to wear in the same, but it eventually does, and it's pretty slick. And it's going to give guys an opportunity for slide jobs, especially down in 3 and 4 big time. So I expect another great race from these guys. I can't see any reason why they wouldn't do it, and I look forward to seeing that race.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing that as well. And one of the big stories to carry out of today, again, J.R. Shepard. We thought that was going to be a title run pretty much done and dusted for the Different Path Motorsports driver, but able to come home in 5th place on the night. That's going to certainly help push his way up the standings, with Hargraves and Northcutt finishing well down the order. But we have here our victor on the night, Rocky Battenfield, joining us here in the booth. Rocky, words are coming hard to describe that run for you. 10th up to 1st. How was that race behind the wheel?
Oh, man, I tell you what, iRacing come out with this Lucas Oil track, and it has been absolutely superb. I mean, you can run a little bit anywhere. For me, it kind of locked down there at the bottom, but I made some moves through the middle and up top there too. So I mean, I was really impressed with the track tonight.
Well, the track ran well, and you were able to really keep your nose out of some of the incidents that we saw take out some of your competitors up at the front of the field. What was your mentality coming through? Were you in full charge mode the entire time, or were you just kind of waiting back to let everything come into your hands?
Well, I mean, I'm generally a patient driver, but I know starting 10th, you gotta make some moves early, and I'm not running for points. I come here to win, so I figured, hey, let's go as hard as we can go and see what happens. And everything kind of worked out our way tonight, and the old Spartan transportation car just hooked up, and man, can't say enough about it. Had a great spotter tonight, Mike Augustine, and he kind of helped me get through the traffic, and I sure appreciate everything.
Well, it certainly was a good run for you. We head to Cedar Lake next. Are we going to see you there?
Yeah, I'm going to try to be there. I'm hosting the Gobbler here in a few weeks right here at this track and these cars, and that was the number one reason I ran tonight. I just kind of wanted to get some practice laps and get a feel for them again, and well, I'm glad I did.
Well, we're glad you showed up, Rocky. Outside of the spotter, is there anybody else you'd like to thank for this run here tonight?
Oh, man, I got a Spartan Transportation. He's my primary sponsor now. iRacing, iFlag, setups by Chris Ferguson Motorsports, Evan and Blake. I mean, they're awesome over there. My team, WFO, Mike Augustine again, he come in and spotted for me. Thomas, he ran third after he got in that big wreck early, and Milner Median Designs for my paint, and BLR for all their help.
Well, thank you so much, Rocky. We look forward to seeing you next week, and congratulations on a great win.
I appreciate it, and thank you guys for the broadcast.
We're more than happy to. That was Rocky Battenfield, your victor here today. And, John, it looks like you've been able to catch up with Thomas Vickers, the third-place driver.
Yeah, Thomas, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Well, but I tell you, really nice recovery tonight. You had that big stack up over there in 3 and 4, and what was your mindset after that happened, and how hard was it to make that ground back up?
I was just trying to stay out of all the trouble I could, and the car started handling a lot terrible after that pile up, and I was just trying to run the line. Nobody was it, just to get by everybody.
Is this your first race here in the street stock at Lucas Oil? Have you run other things here, or is this your first time here, period?
It's my first time in the street stock. I've ran here multiple times on the late models. It's a great track.
It is, and the reason I was asking that, I've run them in several different things too, and it seems like the track actually comes in different depending on the car, and I was going to ask you if you were surprised on anything the track did tonight based on previous experience in other cars.
Yeah, it's a lot different than what the late models are. Late models, you can just rail the tops pretty much the whole time and be fast, but here it looked like it was bottom most of the time, and you had a little bit of the midsection, and top came in for a little bit.
Well, man, congratulations on a great run. Good to see you up here on the podium. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
I'd like to thank my WFO teammates and y'all for broadcasting, and Lowell for putting on the lead.
All right, man. Thomas, next week we go to Cedar Lake. You going to be there with us?
I should be. I might end up going to Charlotte for the race there for the World Finals, but I don't know. If I don't, I'll be here.
Well, if you don't go to the World Finals, if you do go to the World Finals and not show up, no one's going to blame you. But if not, best of luck to you next week, and have a good week, Thomas.
Appreciate it.
Yep, that's Thomas Vickers, our third-place finisher tonight.
Yes, it is, and we've been able to catch up now with our fifth-place finisher, J.R. Shepard. A little bit of a yo-yo race for you, but I've got to say, on the whole, looking at the season, recovery drive up into fifth, and with Hargraves and Northcutt not having the best of days, this could have gone a lot worse for you.
Yeah, definitely could have. First time on that track, so a lot of learning tonight, just trying to figure out where to run, and the groove was pretty narrow, but felt like I was having a pretty decent run, just trying to keep it clean and stay off of everybody, and went well for about 3/4 of the race.
Well, 3/4 of the race, and then talk to me a little bit about the recovery drive. I mean, we saw that pretty fierce battle you had there with Hayes and Hill. Talk me through those moments trying to fight back through the field.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun when you're able to do that. So yeah, the bottom had a lot of grip if you could run right around the bottom. Otherwise, you needed to run that middle lane, and the tires were starting to get to a point that they were getting hot and kind of slipping around quite a bit. So a lot of throttle control came into play, and that's what really allowed me to get back up there. So I really like when a track slicks off like that. It gives you options and you can kind of move around. So we kind of had that late in the race. I just kind of wish the whole race had been that way.
Yeah, I mean, we wish it would have been that way for you as well. But as we look ahead to Cedar Lake, another track that's is a little bit unique in terms of the way it runs here on iRacing. How do you like your chances there?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for sure at that track. I think it's normally toward the bottom of the track and then slowly moves up as the race or as the heat races go on and into the A main. So going to be a little bit tricky, but just try to figure out a spot to ride where we can be clean. So that's the biggest thing. I'm not the greatest dirt driver and obviously not fast enough to be ahead of some of those guys that are during the race. So just got to kind of find a clean spot to run and hopefully keep it that way throughout the race.
Well, we wish you all the luck in the world when you get there, JR. But as for tonight, anybody you want to thank for this 5th place?
Just thanks to the Bootleg Racing League for giving us a place to race on the weekends, and to my team, Different Path Motorsports, and of course everything that you guys do up in the Virtual Grip Network booth. We appreciate you guys.
Well, we appreciate you putting on such a good run for us here. That was J.R. Shepard, your 5th place finisher. And that's about going to wrap things up for us here tonight for the Bootleg Racing League's Dirt Street Stock Series. But if you want some more fantastic action, stay tuned because we will be back here in about 2 hours or so time as the National Sprint Car Trail heads to Gateway Motorsports Park as the Silver Crowns take it on. The next race, though, for the Bootleg Racing League's Dirt Street Stock Series, you heard us mention it, that's going to be Cedar Lake next time out next week, November 4th at 7:10 p.m. Eastern. In the meantime, my name is DJ Clark, and on behalf of my partner here in the booth, John Hine, as well as Ryan Seneker, who has been our director behind the scenes, and Lowell Jewell, who makes all of this possible, it's been an absolute pleasure to bring you the action here from Lucas Oil Speedway. And until we see you on the track, thanks for watching.